Hey guys, Just Plain Ben here, and today I wanted to go over how I made over $100,000 over the course of 3 years in my first real estate deal, how I did it, all of the math behind it, and then how you can do it for yourself and start building your real estate portfolio. Alright guys, thank you for stopping back by the channel, and for those of you out there that don't know who I am or are new here, my name is Ben Phillips. I'm 27 years old and I've been investing in the rental real estate market for the past 3 years, and over the course of those 3 years I've been lucky enough to now own over $500,000 of rental real estate. And like I said, the main purpose of this video is I want to go through my first deal that I ever did in the real estate market or for rental real estate, go through all of the numbers, show you what I've been able to do over the past 3 years and how that one deal has profited me over $100,000 in overall value in this market, and how you can do the exact same thing for yourself. So the wait is over. I'm going to go get my whiteboard all set up, so I'm going to be able to show you guys the math through the whole deal and then the whole purchase price flowing all the way through to the profit at the very end of it. I'm going to also show you guys some tips and tricks throughout the video as well as I go through some of those numbers, showing you guys how to maximize profits in your rental property, ways that I did it for mine, so that you're able to be the best informed so you can maximize the amount of profit that you're going to be able to get out of these rental properties. So like I said, without further ado, let's get over to the whiteboard. Alright guys, so I've got my whiteboard here set up. There's a few items on it as well that I'll get into in a minute, but first off, before we get into this portion of the video, if you're excited about building real estate wealth for yourself and creating financial freedom for yourself as well, and you're excited about what I'm going to be sharing here with you today, please consider leaving the video a like and also subscribing to the channel. I've got a lot more content similar to this coming out here in the future that I think you guys will find really valuable and I'm excited to bring to you. Alright guys, so I've got the whiteboard set up here with a little bit more of the hard facts or some of the more elementary numbers, things that don't require any sort of math, are going to kind of set the stage for the rest of the process here and going through the rest of the numbers. Now I'm going to start up here at the top with the purchase price of the home, and this was a 4-bedroom, 1-bathroom home that I purchased for $178,844. And now I purchased this home on a 30-year fixed mortgage at 4% interest. I'm going to put 4% up here in the corner so we can remember that. And this is a little bit of a unique purchasing procedure. So I did have a family member that liquidated a good amount of their real estate portfolio, and they wanted to put some money into something that they knew was going to generate a return on investment. But in 2018, the stock market wasn't doing a lot of crazy stuff. There wasn't a lot of other returns out there or guaranteed returns on your money to be able to return a decent amount, or at least make sure to beat inflation. So they invested the money into myself, or they put forth a mortgage of $178,844 to me at a 4% interest rate, and I didn't have to pay any money down on the property, which just left more money in my pocket to be able to fix up the property or put money into that property right away. So like I said, it is a little bit more of a unique way to purchase a home, but talking to family members, talking to those other people that do have money in your life to see at least if they are able to do something like this for you, just puts more money in your pocket and gives you more power to put more money into this property to make sure that you can increase the amount of money that you're going to get out of it. Next is going to be the mortgage here, and at $178,844 at a 4% interest rate, my mortgage payment would be $853.83. So that's the amount that I'm going to pay every single month to the person that I purchased the home from, in the amount of $853.83. Now, from the date that I took ownership of the property, which was June 1st, 2018, to February 1st of 2022 is going to be a total of 44 months. And in that amount of time, the overall amount of principal paydown is $11,000 or $11,905. So that's the amount that I have paid out of the overall amount of money that I have paid towards the property, paid down on the initial purchase price. So I essentially have $11,905 of equity within the property that I've paid so far. The total amount of payments that I've paid towards this property, so the mortgage amount times 44 months, is going to be $37,568.52. So that's the total amount that I have paid to the person that I'm buying the home from, and the amount that actually matters, or the non-interest portion of that $37,000, is going to be $11,905. And now moving down to the rental portion of the video here, I'm going to have 3 different areas for rents, just because I had 3 different rental scenarios in this property so far. First of which is going to be starting on June 1st of 2018, so 6/1 of 18 through 1/1 of 19. So through January 1st of 2019, and that was a roommate that I had, and they were paying $600 a month. And that'll be a total of $4,200 until January 1st of 2019. My second scenario was January 1st of 2019 through January 1st of 2020. And this was when my roommate had a girlfriend at the time, so I was charging them both $1,000 total, so $600 for him, $400 for the girlfriend, so that was $1,000 a month, and that would be a total of $12,000. And now the third scenario was when I actually moved out of my house and listed it as a true rental, and that is running from January 1st of 20 through the current time, so I'm just going to do 2/1 of 22. And that is all at $1,500 a month for rentals. And then that total amount for the amount of time from January 1st of 2020 to February 1st of 2022 would be $39,000. So this is the overall amounts that I've made from rental income, whether I be renting out rooms to roommates or renting out the total property in and of itself. These 3 values here are total profit that I've had from rental income, and I'm going to add all 3 of these up and then have a total down there at the bottom. And then taking these 3 numbers of rental income and adding all 3 of them up, the total amount of rental income so far is $55,200. And now moving over to the left side of the board, where I'm going to add everything up and then total everything out to show you how I've made over $100,000 in the past 3 years using this rental strategy and on this investment property. So I'm going to start out with all of the positives here at the top. Then I'm going to go through all of the expenses on the property in the past 3 years, and then we'll get down here to the total. So I'm going to start off with the principal paydown number here of $11,905. That's a positive number, being that that is the amount of equity that I've paid into the property right now, minus obviously the interest portion that I'm paying to the individual. But that's going to be the amount of profit that I've paid into that property that I essentially have vested in that property so far. Moving down here, I'm going to add the total amount of rents that I've received over the past 3 years, which is $55,200. Perfect. So those are our first 2 positive numbers. The next positive number is going to be the amount that the home has increased in value over the past 3 years. We've definitely experienced a little bit of a real estate, or a lot of bit of a real estate bull market, and the home value has gone up quite a bit in value. So over these past 3 years, I've compiled the top 3 home value listing sites online, being Trulia, Zillow, and Realtor.com. They all offer a home value price for homes that are off market. So compiling those 3 numbers and then averaging them out, my home's value across those 3 sites averages out to be $273,900. So obviously the home has gone up quite a bit in value, almost a full third, or over a third in value between the purchase price and the new value price of the home. So the difference between the new current home value and the purchase price of $178,844 is $95,056. So those are going to be the 3 positive numbers that I have to deal with here. And what I'm going to do is I'm now going to add these 3 numbers up, and then we'll go through all of the expenses. So adding these 3 numbers up, I get a total of $162,161. That's not the amount of total profit that I've had, but that is the total amount of money that I've brought in value in rents, and then also principal pay down over the past 3 years. Now I'm going to move down to the expenses portion of this side of things. So I'm going to put an EX there for expenses, and we'll do an INC here for income. So the first expense that I'm going to go over is the total payments or the mortgage that I've paid over the past 3 years, which is going to be that $37,568.52. So I'm going to put $37,568.52 right there up at the top. That's going to be my largest expense so far. The next couple expenses that I'm going to go over vary based on the location, but at least in my situation, I'm going to have taxes here. And taxes are going to be about $9,000 or $3,000 a year so far for this property. Now that's a little bit high, being that that's calculated based on the taxes when I have it as a rental property. The taxes were a little bit lower, or probably more like a third lower, when I was homesteading the property or living there for the first 2 years. But just to average it out, I put $9,000 there for my taxes for the past 3 years. And now I'm going to include my maintenance expenses. So my maintenance expenses over the past 3 years have been about $14,000. Now I know that seems quite a bit high. I did have a little bit of an issue with the property at the very beginning as far as water in the basement. I had to have a large basement system put in to extrude the water, and that was about $10,000, so that's the major portion of that maintenance expense. But nonetheless, I wanted to include all of the maintenance expenses in there. So $9,000 for taxes, $37,568.52 for the overall mortgage, and then $14,000 in overall maintenance in the past 3 years. And now if I take these three numbers here and then add up all my expenses, I'm going to have a total expenses of $60,568.52. And now that we have all of our numbers here, we have our total income and our total expenses, I'm sure you guys can assume the next step. We're going to get our absolute total profit here, which is $101,592.48, which is over $100,000 in the past 3 years. Using this strategy for this particular property, I have made over $101,592 in total profit. And just like that, guys, that is how I've made over $100,000 in the past 3 years using this real estate rental strategy for this home in particular. And also some of the tips and tricks that I went over when I was on the whiteboard there, like looking at some of your options of low and no money down and different paths to home ownership that you have available to you, and also having a roommate to offset some of those mortgage costs at the beginning really make a large difference in making sure that you're maximizing the money in your pocket and also maximizing the profitability of the property. And for those of you out there watching that are saying, Ben, I'm not ready to buy a home right now. Is there anything that I can do in the time right now to get me closer to that position of buying a home, or to position me better when I get there and when it's time to buy a home? And to that, I say yes, there is. First thing you're going to be able to do is working on your credit score and making sure that it is as healthy and as high as absolutely possible. There's a multitude of things that go into your credit score and a lot of moving puzzle pieces. So I personally use a credit tracking app like Mint that I use to track all of my finances, and they have a credit tracking portion, so you can get a more comprehensive view of your credit score and all of the different areas that go into it, so you can see what areas are doing well and what areas need improvement, so that you can focus on those areas to then bring up your overall credit health, which will in turn bring up your overall credit score. Having a higher credit score is going to look really good to loan officers, and they're going to usually approve you for a higher amount and also at a lower interest rate, so you're going to be able to get your home at a much better price. Second thing you can do is going to be taking some time and figuring out exactly what type of real estate you want to purchase for your first property. There's a couple different options here. All of them have different benefits and downsides, and I'm going to start off with single-family homes. Single-family homes are going to be the best bet for most people in their path to home ownership and real estate. There's the largest amount of inventory on the market of single-family homes, so you're going to be able to find a good amount of homes to be able to look through and find what one is the right one for you. Now, also utilizing the roommate strategy to lower your mortgage costs is something that works great with this strategy. And like I said, there's just the most amount of homes on the market in that single-family category, so you're going to be able to see a lot of different homes and find that one that looks perfect for you that you want to invest in. Another strategy would be looking at multifamily properties. Now, multifamily properties would be like your duplexes, your triplexes, and your quadplexes. Anything more than 4 units is going to fall under the commercial realm, and anything 4 units and under is going to fall under the residential realm. So without opening up a whole nother can of worms on the commercial side of things, you're going to want to stay at 4 units or under as far as multifamily units go. Now, the perks of multifamily is that you don't necessarily have to have someone living with you, but you still get the benefits of offsetting some of those mortgage costs with leasing out those other units, those other unoccupied units to other tenants. And multifamilies can grow at insane rates. You can get a lot of rate of return on these properties if you have high rents in your area, and also if you get them for a really good deal. Now, multifamilies do tend to come in at a higher price point for purchase, being that you're purchasing more than 1 unit. So if you have the liquid cash to be able to put a down payment on a larger property like that, down the line you are going to most likely make more money, but you just have to bite off a little bit more at the beginning. And the third thing that you can do, as elementary as it sounds, is going to be focusing on that down payment. So if you don't have a budget, creating a budget or going through your finances and seeing where you can kind of trim the fat and allocate more funds to that initial down payment, and in turn shortening the time that it's going to take for you to be able to go out and make that first home purchase. We all have different things in our life that we're going to be able to kind of trim the fat from. It might be going through your life and seeing if there's anything that you can sell on Facebook Marketplace. There's a lot of different ways that you can then allocate different funds to that initial down payment to then, again, shorten that time that it's going to take for you to go out and purchase your first home. But with all that being said, guys, that is all I have for you today. If you found any of the information in this video helpful, please leave the video a like and consider subscribing to the channel. A lot more great content coming out here in the future. I plan on directing this channel towards real estate, stock investing, and then cryptocurrency, and maybe a little bit of NFT stuff coming in the future, as that's kind of what I'm moving into as far as my interests go. I'm doing a lot of research on that side of things, so it's really been interesting me over the past couple of weeks, and I want to bring any information that I find value of to you guys so that you can get value from it as well. Other than that, guys, I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day. Go out there, chase your dreams, get your first real estate property, and have a good one. See ya.